So here's why stepping out of your comfort zone will actually help you to overcome depression. Now, depression is a very vast and broad topic. Of course, you can overcome your childhood trauma. You identify what is wrong, why you're feeling depressed. Maybe it's childhood trauma, maybe it's trauma that you received from relationships, or maybe it's something else. But even after you overcome all of this, the reason you slip back again to depression, to just being sad all the time, is because there is nothing to do. You were living in chaos, and finally you're put in a normal place, and then you overcome all this trauma that you had while you were living in chaos, and now life is just too stagnant, it's too boring for you, and that is why you slip back again to depression. When the mind is empty, it becomes the devil's workshop. That's what they call it. All right, so when you are here, just being stagnant, out of this depression that you were once in, and it is so easy for your mind to fall back in the same old patterns. And for you to prevent doing that, all you have to do is just put yourself in different places, go on adventures. You must not let your mind be so stale and stable, because eventually, it will grasp onto some habit, some pattern. That is why you see addicts, such as people who used to smoke, drink. Once they overcome all these vices, they're just stagnant, and they take on other addictions, because you are not using that energy somewhere else. So all this is, sadness, depression, anxiety, addiction, it's all just energy. You just have to use that energy into something else. All right, if you were putting all this energy into, just feeling sad, feeling depressed all the time, just take all that energy, when you overcome that depression, when you overcome that sadness, go put it into something much more productive, on your career, on your relationships, and also just go on adventures, go explore new cities, go explore the mountains, go explore beaches. Because when you constantly put yourself out there, constantly get out of your comfort zone, it creates new neural patterns in your brain, and now your brain has something to live for. All right, because once you overcome this depression, once you overcome sadness, life is too boring. That chaos was a spark. That is why you see people who overcome toxic relationships, who get out of toxic relationships, go back and just fall back into the same pattern, because there is nothing to do. That feels amazing. There was a spark there. Now life is just boring. So you have to recreate neural patterns in order for you to find excitement in something new. Now, this is not just blatant psychology, all right? There is science towards this. Once you start developing a new habit, the brain literally starts making new neural patterns. And that neural patterns will help you to actually, put yourself in different places and use the same energy that you were using on all these other things into something else. So that is how you kind of rewire your brain. You literally rewire your brain in order to overcome all this sadness, to not be stagnant. And once you start doing this, it'll be so much more easier to actually navigate, through life without feeling so, paranoid that you might fall back into the same patterns, or worse, you fall back into the same addictions or depression.